Indian Muslims are braving a predicament which they never imagined would be staring them in their faces. After living in India for generations, their loyalty, citizenship, and even presence are being challenged by the Indian government and Hindu extremists, the main targets of Modi's BJP and its government. Two press reports, presented here below, amply highlight the gravity of the situation. The Times of India. Nowadays Hindu extremism is out of control and Indian Muslims are its major target. A few days ago BJP MP Vinay Katiyar said that Muslims should not even be living in this country, they should go to Pakistan or Bangladesh. What business do they have here, reported. Previously many Muslim iconic figures of India have reported problems faced by them in renting or buying a property in Bombay. There is hardly any Muslim employed in the Indian defense industry. Due to Indian government discriminatory policies, Muslims are deprived of employment opportunities in the almost entire public sector, resulting in a force living below the poverty line. The New York Times. Over the last 3 years, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party's government, some of the League's fears in the 1930s and 40s have returned to haunt India's Muslims, who account for 172 million of India's 1.3 billion citizens. Punishment for cow slaughter, which is proscribed in most states of India, has become more severe. A conviction can lead to sentences ranging from 5 years to life imprisonment. The foot soldiers of Mr. Modi's party, BJP, and its affiliates have run aggressive campaigns demanding that, apart from giving up beef, India's Muslims must not date or marry Hindu girls or women. They should rather revert to Hinduism, the BJP and like-minded others say, because their ancestors were Hindus who were forcibly converted by medieval Muslim rulers. They must sing Vande Mataram, the national song, these proponents say, to prove their loyalty to India, and their children must perform yoga in schools to show respect for India's culture. The markers of Muslim identity, beards, skull caps and headscarves, invite frowns, even violence, in India. Indian Muslims' decision to staying back has an inevitable remedy there too, already provided by Allah, SWT, looked at from a different angle. When the Prophet, PBUH, ordered the Meccan Muslims to migrate to Medina, there were some Muslims who did not comply and stayed back, like the Indian Muslims at the time of partition. It may be argued here that Meccan Muslims were given the order by the Prophet, PBUH, whereas the migration to Pakistan was an after effect of political wrangling/war/partition. The point missed in this argument, however, would be that Pakistan was created by Allah, SWT, like Medina, as a sanctuary for the persecuted Muslims. The obvious reason, therefore, for the staybacks, in both the cases, was nothing but the worldly compulsions, family, houses, crops, animal other assets, etc. a FITNAH, hence, disregard for the blessings of the migration one. And be aware that your wealth and your children are but a trial and that with Allah there is a great reward. Q. 828. Hadith, Hijrah, migration, erases all sins which existed before migration. Hijrah from Darul-Harb/Kufr such as India to Darul-Islam such as Pakistan becomes obligatory, and, wajib, necessary under certain conditions, as were at that time of partition, while, mustahab, recommended and desirable in others. Indian Muslims failed to fulfill the trust of Allah, SWT. To regain the lost trust and bounty of Allah, SWT, here is a way already chalked out, inevitable for Indian Muslims. O those who believe, if you fear Allah, SWT, He will provide you with a criterion, to distinguish between the right and wrong, what to do. Conquer Mecca, and will write off your evil deeds and will forgive you. Allah, SWT, is the Lord of great bounty. Conquest of Mecca. Q. 829. The rational demand for huge blessings presented, in the form of Pakistan, would have made all Muslims jump on it, but since the opportunity has been wasted by those who stayed back and no prophet is going to come to conquer the Mecca for them, they have to do it for themselves. This is the only logical, rational and definite way for them and their generations to live with dignity and free of a sense of guilt. Any slothfulness of still trying to prove their loyalty to India or Hindus would be devastating, for them and their generations. They will suffer in this world and the next for their complacency and dismissal of the criterion provided by Allah, SWT. According to the majority of scholars, the essence of granting firkin to those who fear Allah, SWT, is to help and support them in whatever legitimate objective they embark on. No enemy can hurt them and success goes with them, for it is kafara for their slips and mistakes. The right of self-determination is enshrined in the UN Charter, Chapter 1, Article 1, Part 2. The right of people to self-determination is a cardinal principle in modern international law, commonly regarded as a jus cogens rule, binding, as such, on the United Nations as an authoritative interpretation of the Charter's norms. It states that people, based on respect for the principle of equal rights and fair equality of opportunity, have the right to freely choose their sovereignty and international political status with no interference. East Timor and South Sudan, both Christian states, was created by the West, out of sovereign Muslim states, by manipulating the clauses in the old independence/decolonization agreements, drafted by the Western criminal states, and arms twisting. Read the related article, https://shakir2.wordpress.com/2017/10/25/ breakup of Ottoman Empire through British conspiracy/ Kashmir and Palestine, both the people facing systematic genocide, however, cannot be freed for they involve Muslims. 1. Here are some verses from the Holy Quran praising those who migrate. Quran 2:218 says, "Those who believed and migrated and struggled in the way of God are those who are hopeful of the mercy of God. God is forgiving and merciful." Another verse says, "Those who have migrated surely I will forgive their sins." Quran 3:195. A common element in these verses is the combining of faith and migration. One verse asks those who were persecuted yet did not migrate, wasn't the land of God large enough that you could have migrated? Quran 4:97. As part of the same narrative, the Quran actually encourages believers to migrate and states that those who chose to migrate when they are oppressed will find success, those who are migrating in the way of God will find refuge and prosperity. Quran 4:100. https://shakir2.wordpress.com/2019/08/07/insatiably expansionist India/ comment/feedback/like/share/follow Shakir2.wordpress.com